Oh, one more thing before we get into Wuthering Waves. Would you voice in Wuthering Waves given the chance? Yes, I would love to, which is a great transition into one of the things I wanted to talk about. Yo, there's a guy. Look, I feel like I'm a drama YouTuber. Like, just talking about, I feel like I'm a drama YouTuber. I don't like talking about drama like this, but my God, I was like, man, I'm back in like 2012 with this. Like, it's actually crazy to me, the ridiculousness. People taking my words out of context and just to spin their conspiracy theories is mind-boggling. There's a guy, by the way, I just want to let it be known, this is not in reference to Tectone, all right? Because I know that a lot of people, it's like, oh, classic Tectone spinning the thing. Look, I don't what the hell contracts the hell he's talking about with the content creators. That's a whole different story. But in regards to voice acting, like, and voiceover, bro, there is this fucking guy, Saint Tontos or whatever the fuck his name is, who is like literally just like, bro, this guy has a tinfoil fucking hat. He made a whole video about a conspiracy theory and how, and he turned off the comments on his video because I was going to respond, but he said, Alejandro Saab has confirmed that he has no exclusivity in this contract. Right. Usually when it comes to voiceover, there is no exclusivity like that. The only time there is exclusivity is usually for commercials, aka like I talked about this previously, like Coca-Cola and you know, Pepsi, like competitors like that when it comes to commercials, because you don't want your spokesperson, your voice, let's say Coca-Cola, drink now, the new flavor, to also be the guy that goes, Pepsi, our new 0 calories. You don't want to be that. They don't want the same guy, because then it's like, wait, which is the voice endorsing? I don't know. You know what I mean? But when it comes to video games, anime, and that kind of thing, there isn't that, right? Especially for this. He does, and then he goes, he does not confirm whether or not his contract would be not be renewed if he took on a Wuwa role. It would. It would be renewed. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't. Like, what? And then goes to say, is there a possibility that Hoyo would imply that they would lose their employment contract if they took on a role in Wuwa? No. I wouldn't lose my job. Nah, I wouldn't. I've taken on multiple other roles, and literally, like, other voice actors have worked for other for Kuro Games, for fuck's sake. The ZZZ contract was confirmed real. Many contracts. That's a different contract. The contract for a content creator is not the same contract for a voice actor. And if you genuinely think that, you are fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, that is just not the way contracts work. There are literally contracts in different departments for different reasons. Like, can we use our brains for, like, I'm sorry to shit on this person, but they brought my name into it and like just spout, and like with their tinfoil hat, it's like, well, he said this, but he didn't say this. So now, like, me talking about it, he's probably gonna be like, well, he didn't say this thing. Or, bro, like, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Yeah, many CCs did not sign it after realizing the implications of it. Right, because why would you? That's just insane. Obviously, renegotiate if a contract doesn't sit right with you. You know what I mean? There has also been confirmed follow botting that is pro Genshin on many Wuwa Twitch streamers. That I don't know anything about. And if that is happening, that fucking sucks. They literally dropped Natlin news and quality of life upgrades the week of Wuwa's release. I mean, look, you might call me a Genshin dick rider or a Hoyo dick rider for saying this. Dude, this shit is planned out weeks or months in advance. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the timing was just unfortunate. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I saw my boy.
Hey, thank you for the 1,000 biddies. Thank you, Lit. Hey, let's go. I have little doubt that Hoyo would implicitly put VA's employments in their games into question if they did voice work for the biggest competitor, considering everything that they've done already this week. That can actually factually be confirmed. No, it factually fucking can't. You are literally pulling this shit out of your ass. Like, and also goes on to say, there's no misinformation anywhere in this video. Unfortunately, it's a statement of fact and then a discussion about hypothetical explanation. That's not fucking factual. That's the way you are dictating this information is misinformation. You could literally be like, what ifs and that. Bro, it's crazy to me. Like, look, I get speculations. I get game theories. I get it. But when it comes to this type of situation, you're just stirring up trouble for the sake of stirring up trouble. Like, because the fact that I just can't believe that this dude literally went like, bro, he said he didn't have an exclusivity, but he didn't say he'd renew his contract. What are you talking about? And if that was the case, if there was a thing where it was that they wouldn't let me renew my contract, like they are like, hey, because you voiced in Wuwa, you can't voice in Genshin. If they ever did that, if for whatever reason Hoyo or any company, whether it's Hoyo, Kuro, like any company I've worked with that literally would tell me, it's like, hey, because you're working on this thing, you can't work on this thing, you can't reprise your role, I would literally talk about it publicly. Because people would ask me, hey, how come you didn't come back for so-and-so? I'd be like, oh yeah, they told me I couldn't. They told me because I decided to do voiceover work for this thing, I couldn't do voiceover work for this thing. Like, dog. Look, I like both Genshin and Wuwa. I would love to voice in Wuwa. In Wuthering Waves, for those of you who, you know, aren't in the lingo. But here's the thing. There's no NDA in your contract. There are NDAs in my contract, obviously. But if the contract isn't renewed, what NDA would I have?
It's crazy people think VAs are exclusive to one company, then WTF is the point of VAs if they can't have multiple roles. Also, it's a known fact Hoyo employees are openly playing Wuwa, so
yeah! And also in other languages, there are literally in the Chinese and the Japanese cast folks who voice in Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves. Hell, I found out the other day, I think it's the Japanese, I can't remember if it's the Japanese or the Chinese voice actor for General Ji Yan. He's Jing Yuan. Like, that's so cool. Also, I saw one thing where talk about like how in one of the closed betas, it was Skylar. I don't know anything about that, but sometimes it's just as easy as wanting to go with a different studio. Did you guys ever think about that? Like, I know that sometimes, like, literally video games switch from studio to studio so goddamn often. If you don't know that. Like, Honkai Star Rail started off recording in one company and then ended up recording at a different company. So why the fuck wouldn't the same thing happen with fucking Wuthering Waves? Like, maybe for a beta, they're like, hey, we want to record here. Oh, but you know what? Actually, we're thinking about recording with this other studio because they gave us a bid. Or maybe they offered us something that we did that the original studio didn't have. Or maybe there's a specific sound we're looking for. Who the fuck knows? There could be 1,000 or 1,000,000 or a dozen reasons why they decided to change studios. Shit happens. It's the fucking industry. It's constantly happening. And I feel like this is obviously getting fucking twisted and spun because, oh, drama bait, oh, it's funny. And literally the only reason I'm tackling it is because this dude is just making up shit about me. I think Kuro did not have the budget for EN due to their CN and VAs being so well known in sales. One of the conspiracies was March 7th's VA was banned from recording after she got PGR. I don't think it was banned. I was just like, she was probably busy. I don't think it was banned, because that sounds ridiculous. It could just be that Kuro wanted a different sound, or like sometimes it is that, and it's like, oh, they're the mascot, maybe we shouldn't do that. And that's not a Hoyo thing. That might have been a Kuro thing. It's like, oh, they voiced the mascot for the other game. You know, maybe we shouldn't. But that's not always the case. There could be 100 reasons, and instead of fucking speculating some conspiracy that it's Hoyo's fault, like, maybe just be like, shit happens. Because it does. It really fucking does. Bro, I have been replaced. I have replaced people. It's part of the industry, and that is just the unfortunate truth. The company literally said they wanted to work aside London for their EN closer to them geographically. Yeah, that is a thing that also happens. Like, it is literally a thing that fucking happens. Bro, like, companies switch from, like, decide midway through production they want to switch to a different studio. Like, I know this isn't as ridiculous, but Disgaea used to be recorded at PCB, and now it's recorded at Bang Zoo. You know, there are so many games. Like with the most recent Mario game, like before, most of the Nintendo games, to my knowledge, like Mario specific, were recorded in like Seattle, but now they're recorded in California as of the recent one. Or after production in the case of Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV, from my understanding, started in California and now is in the UK. And now I think it might be back in America. I don't know, dude.
Haters gonna hate XOXO CYuVtuber popcorn.
So all that to say, take off the tinfoil hat, breathe for a moment, and maybe, just maybe, the conspiracy ain't real. But here's the crazy part, right? Still in the UK, thank you. But here's the crazy part, right? People aren't gonna believe me. People are gonna be like, well, he's paid to say that. No, I'm not. Bro, I wish I was. I'm gonna be honest. I wish I was. I've literally talked about it. I wish I was paid by more money by Hoyo. Like, if literally there was a non-compete clause to not work on another gacha game, I'd be like, all right, are you gonna pay me $1 million? Like, are you gonna pay me like $100,000? Like, what are we talking about here? Because like, not voicing for another game like that deters me from making, like, it stops me from making money. So you're gonna cover that expense, right? No? Then why the fuck? Anyway, just enjoy both games. I literally made this connection last night. Dude, this is probably like what the toxic fandom of like Star Wars versus Star Trek was when it was first starting out. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it feels like to me. I'm like, oh, this is just toxic, you know? And then you have your folks all the way in the corner just being like, I like both. I like both. It's me. I like both. I like both for different reasons. Ever think about that? And there was another thing. There was someone that asked me, it's like, then what's Honkai Star Rail? And I'm like, fan base wise, probably Lord of the Rings. And I only say Lord of the Rings because people, Star Wars and Star Trek, like Genshin and Wuwa, they're both open world games. And then Lord of the Rings is, and then Honkai is Lord of the Rings because people will constantly compare it to Star Wars, even though it's a completely different genre. You know? So, yeah. Anyway, that's my dumb analogy for all these fan bases. Anywho, just enjoy the game. And to my content creators watching this for a drama or whatever the fuck, yo, if you have questions about the industry, I can and will answer to the best of my ability. I won't always be right, because I don't know everything. But I can tell you that contract shit is bullcrap. specifically for voice acting. I don't know anything about the contract. Yeah, everybody gets different contracts, so it's just ridiculous. Anyway, the actual thing I wanted to talk about, a funny story. Here's a funny story. Today I had to record, right? I had to record today. You're funny? Oh, thanks. I had to record today because the person I was working with, they underestimated how much time we had earlier in the week. And basically I had to record on a Sunday because I did them the favor because they were panicking, and I don't think I've had a client ever panic. So I was like, all right, sure, we'll record. It's also the weekend. I had my handyman come over. He's a really cool guy, and he's practically made this house look the way, like, my mom is what made it organized. This guy's the guy that builds all the stuff, so then it kind of looks organized. Anyway, I was recording today while he was building, while he was in my house, and he heard everything. And when I walked out of the booth, it's like, bro, I've heard you in like anime and video games. There's like no way. Have you recorded for World of Warcraft? And I was like, no, I haven't. But and he's like, okay, but I know I've heard you in an anime or video game somewhere. And I'm like, I'm sure you have. Oh. So I was like, great. And it was, and soon after he leaves, and I'm just like, how does he not know? Like, not to be that guy, but if you look at my office, I have so much hung up. I have like a Leon skateboard. I have Persona stuff everywhere. I have Blue Lock, Sino, Hell's Paradise. I literally have my merch just out in the, literally just out. So I was like, how does this man not know? So yeah, anyway, that was, that literally happened like 40 minutes ago. So I just wanted to share that with you on top of the drama. Anyway, let's play some fucking Wuthering Waves.